Ken, are you with us now?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Oh yes, I have to tell you that this is a virtual DDA, I almost said DNA, DDA meeting on Wednesday, January 27th, 2021 via Zoom. And the meeting is being recorded. And we will ask, I'm going to do a roll call attendance and then state your name, where you are at the time. Doug Wilbur.
Here, Green Oak Township.
Okay. Dente Owner.
Here, Northfield Township. Sorry, what else do I have to say?
Your name?
Jenny Olney here.
Dana Forrester.
Here, Dana Forrester, Northfield Township.
Denise Kavish. I don't see her yet. Anna Iaquinto.
Northfield Township.
Bridget Castman is absent with notice. Matt Ritz.
Here, Royal Oak, Michigan.
Jack Secrist.
Here, Nala Road in Northfield Township.
Eric Patterson. I have not heard from Eric. Ken Dignan.
Ken Dignan here, Northfield Township, Michigan, Washtenaw County.
And Barb Griffith, present at Northfield Township, Washtenaw County. I believe I didn't forget anybody. So we do have a quorum. Bridget's absent with notice. I have not heard from Denise Kavish or Eric Patterson, but we still have a quorum. The next item is a call to the public. Do you see anyone, Ken?
Let's see here. There are 3 members of the public. If anyone would like to speak, raise your hand and we'll allow you to speak. I have Pat Kerrigan, Bob, and Bill that are out there, but no one has raised their hand. So, seeing no one.
And I'm sorry, can you say the names again so I can capture them for the minutes?
Pat Kerrigan, Bob, and Bill. I don't know who Bob and Bill are, and Kish. Or Kish. So,
okay.
Yeah, but no one from the public has raised their hand to speak. So we can move on.
Thank you. The next item is the financial report. Jack Secrist.
Yes, I got a copy from Yvette, and it's complicated, as all of you know, very complex. I poured over it in great detail, and everything looks in order, and we have pretty much identically the amount of money we had last year at this time. So I see no issues other than it would be nice if we had a lot more money than we do.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions on it?
Yeah, will you send us a copy of it though, just for formality?
Oh, sure. I'm sorry. I usually it comes to the meeting, and of course we're doing the Zoom meetings. Yes, I'll do that.
Okay.
Could you give us a balance on that?
Yeah, sorry, I should have done that. It is $33,837.47.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion to accept the financial report.
So moved.
Oh,
Moved by Dignan, supported by Olney. Is that right? Okay.
sure.
Further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, those in favor of accepting the financial report and dispense with the reading, say aye.
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 And those opposed, say nay. Okay. The next motion carries. The next item is the minutes from December 16th. So long ago.
I have read the minutes, the voluminous minutes, I might say, in great detail. They look just fine to me, and I would move approval.
I'll second that. And I believe everyone got a copy of those, like, before you were able to step away from your computer last month. So,
I didn't get minutes for some reason.
oh, okay.
I don't know why, but
Doug, I can share them again, or share
thank
them
you.
via email.
Okay. Further discussion on the minutes? Is there a motion to accept the minutes from 12/16/20 and dispense with the reading? Or did we? Yeah. No, that was a financial report. Sorry.
Barb, if I may, just in relation to the meeting minutes, we do have our 21 calendar, like meeting calendar identified in those minutes. So if you would, make sure you get those on your calendar. And then we've also shared them with Jennifer to get them posted on the township website.
Okay. Motion by Secrist, seconded by Griffith to approve the minutes from 12/16/20 and dispense with the reading. Those in favor say aye.
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 And those opposed say nay. Parks and Recreation report by Doug Wilbur.
Okay, I didn't attend the meeting, but I believe last night they presented our master plan to the township for review and possible exception. Ken, could you give us an update on that?
So the Parks and Rec master plan was presented to the township board. Township board held a public hearing and adopted the plan to move forward. So the plan obviously will then be incorporated, and we now are within the window or the envelope necessary in order to apply for certain DNR grants.
Great.
So that was an important step that had to be done in a very tight time frame in order to accomplish that portion of that. Also on the Parks and Rec side, the Township Board has directed Parks and Recreation to put together a request for proposals for a landscape architect to start the process of once they get those back, to bring forth a recommendation to the board so we can hire a park designer to start to do designs for the park that are necessary in order to apply for certain grants.
Sounds great.
It's some conceptual ideas. Yep. It's a very good thing.
Thank you. Actually, it's a good segue. It's the supervisor's report is next on the agenda.
Okay, I got a couple things. As you may know or may have heard, Chestnut Development has brought forth its plans for the Leland Farm, the North Territorial and Whitmore Lake Road northwest corner, and should be coming to the Planning Commission this next Planning Commission meeting, I would think, as long as they get all of their building stuff in. Just a quick highlight, it's 50 residential homes and 200 residences that are barrier-free, single-story, two-car attached garage, 1,200 square foot, 2 to 4 per building apartments. So they're homes, but they're on the apartment style so that, those individuals just have their rent and don't have to worry about anything else. It's something that's been very attractive to retirees, folks trying to move out of their homes after their kids have moved on, and then a heritage place, which is a assisted living center and a gas station on the corner. That's the PUD. So that'll be going before the Planning Commission soon. I met with Livonia Builders along with the township manager recently in regards to the allocation to the park. You know that the township board recently allocated 10 to 12 acres of the park to be park space. The meeting went very well. Danny is a great guy. He really came into the meeting excited about the prospects, looking at a 50-home development behind, basically behind Teaberry and behind the Main Street properties. And the prospects of partnering on other things. We have not gotten to any formal. He was taking back that idea. It was just really a preconceptual meeting to see where the interest lied. He's very interested in doing a project here in Northfield, and liked what he had seen. So it was nice to have him travel out here to Northfield Township. It shows a level of dedication on his part to being interested, and then we'll just have to negotiate from there. There's two things. I've been trying to make contact with the owner of the Woodbridge site. The Woodbridge site was foreclosed on and is in the hands of an investment company down in, I want to say, Florida, I believe. We don't know that it's anyone tied to this area at all. I think it's more just the company that was behind holding that property.
Where is that located?
The Woodbridge site is the southwest corner of 8 Mile and US 23. It's got the water tower on it. They put the new MDOT parking on the far west side of the park of that area. So, and then last night at the township board meeting, I put forth a motion that the board approved on 75 Barker, that we've got an ad hoc committee that's going to investigate the feasibility and costs of splitting the building from the parking. We're also going to look at the cost of rehabbing the parking lot, and connecting it to the Main Street properties potentially. And we'll be talking to Matt a little bit about that, signage, and then to publish a open call for proposals for just the building at 75 Barker. And those offers are to be submitted in a sealed envelope to the township no later than February 25th. And then the ad hoc committee will establish scoring criteria of basically proposed use, time frame for commencing work, time frame for completing work, approximate renovation investment, concept, floor plans, dollar amount offered for the property, location of the company or primary investor, and expected contractors and their locations. Once they're scored, they'll report back to the Board of Trustees on their findings by April 13th at the very latest. And then the Board of Trustees will make a decision on how to move forward or whether or not to demolish the building and make it all parking. Those are kind of the options that are on the table. We're looking for a compelling use, a compelling project plan. We've walked 5 different groups through the building. 2 other individuals have expressed an interest in the building today. We're not looking to have people spend a ton of money to be able to put forth a concept and a plan at this point, because we don't, we want to understand the idea and behind it, where people would want to go if they would want to do something with it. The other thing that was talked about last night on that property is the removal of that building and the building of a linear building to the east property line, with the parking being behind it. So that's directly in line with the synthesis plan. So along Barker Road to do infill development at the roadside or at the sidewalk, so that you can and have the parking behind. So that's a lot of exciting stuff going on. We've got more stuff coming down the pipe. It's just a matter of getting things done one at a time. Yeah, Jack.
What happened to the Al Dente request relative to North Village? And have you established the ad hoc committee yet? That's my other question. Sure.
With Al Dente, before the board was open to considering things from Dennis, but we wanted Dennis to walk down the path of seeing if it is a compatible use, if everything would work, if those kind of things would work. And we discovered a big hiccup in the process, and that is Dennis has a sewer line that runs the north side of his property, the west side of his property, and the south side of his property, literally on the property line. He has absolutely nowhere to go without moving the sewer, and moving the sewer line is a $150,000 prospect. That's anticipated it'd be 150 or more. The reason that is, many of you may remember, there used to be a culvert underneath Main Street there, where people used to be able to bring their boats in and park them. It was a marina, essentially, inside that area that's now filled in. And that's why the sewer line didn't pass through there. So it went around him instead. So he's considering his options. I'm definitely looking for other opportunities within the township for him to potentially look at. Not sure that that's the route he and his partners are going to choose, but he was not asking for a tremendous amount of property. About a third of an acre is what he was looking for to expand, but to add another 15 to 20% to your project just to move a sewer line, it's quite a challenge. So,
Ken, does he need a bigger area?
Say that again. Did he need a bigger area?
Location? Do they need a larger location?
Yeah, because they were adding a 100 by 136 foot building. I mean, it's a big building, so, he needs more square footage because he needs to put in a lot more drying rooms for the pasta to dry in, and another production line as well. So his partners would like him to move to the northeast here in Michigan, Novi area, that area. He'd really love to stay here because of, obviously, this is his home. This is where he's got his start. We haven't closed the door on possibilities. We've asked our engineers to really study, what it would take to address this. Trying to find a creative way of looking at the sewer. We'd love to keep him here. It's a great name to have in the community. It's a very reputable brand. I'd love to be able to celebrate that brand in this town.
I have a little tidbit. So in Ann Arbor, they have what's called the Allen Drain, which was a ditch that used to have a lot of water that flowed openly around and through the buildings back in 1800s to early 1900s. And what they did is they put in a large drain to encapsulate that ditch. But they did allow buildings to actually, go over that, and also parking areas to go over that, just as a suggestion as to, allowing that to run under the area that he's trying to build. Just speculating. I don't really know a lot about it.
Yeah, Doug, one of the things that I'm looking at right now is, could we put a 20-foot wide thoroughfare between his current building and that building, something wide enough for him to drive the high-low through. That could go over the sewer, and then the building be on the other side of the sewer.
Correct.
So that's, I think that could be a possibility, as long as he understood his waiver. But with something being 20 feet wide, you can usually manage on either side of that if you have to.
Right.
So,
right.
But we're not closing the door on it. We're trying to find a right solution. I'm just glad we went down this path before we sent him through a series of other costly steps. So, and then Jack, you had another question, didn't you?
I just was wondering about the ad hoc committee that you set it up already, or you?
Yes, and it myself, Lenore. Hang on, I've got it here. And Nate Mochow. So Nate Mochow, myself, and Lenore are on that committee. We're going to be working really, I put this timeline in place in the motion that's really aggressive and requires us to act quickly. And I think the reason being is that building sitting there empty with no plan is stagnating certain things in the community here, and people are looking for that to get moving. So that's my official supervisor's report. I do have one personal thing to mention, if you guys don't mind. I am in the process of buying 22 Barker, which is the family video building. I've got an offer in that's been accepted. We're just working through the process. So I'm rather excited about that. The house front of it is one of the oldest houses in Northfield Township, built in 1840. So it's pretty exciting. It was the Halleck house, built by Dr. Halleck back in 1840. So it's just a nice way to kickstart and jump into this historic Northfield Township and being able to celebrate what we have here. I'm excited about it. So hopefully we'll get it all started by the end of the month.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Excited for you, Ken.
That's great.
Thanks.
Sounds great.
Thanks.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Dana? So I know you and I talked about this once at the coffee shop. What about those signs, the Pizza House sign? Isn't there two signs down on Main Street? What can we do to get rid of those?
That's a great question. We can't, I have asked just about every single board meeting why our Darlene Curtis real estate sign is still standing, even though the township manager has been given directive to remove that sign. There just doesn't seem to be any action on that front. We will be addressing it more firmly here in the future. I have a real hard time going after other folks to remove their signs when we can't take care of our own signs and get them down. Not only is it the Darlene Curtis sign, but it's the signs at 75 Barker that don't need to be there anymore. It's, we can't ask others to do what we're not willing to do ourselves. So it's important. It is on the priority list. And I can't explain to you why our signs are still standing there when they've been, there's been explicit board direction to remove them. So I'm sorry about that.
I do think, if I'm not mistaken, the ones that are not on township property, the sign is actually part of the property, and if they ever wanted to put another sign up, as long as they have the exact same size and everything, they don't have to go through a lot of the sign ordinance red tape. So a lot of people have a tendency to leave the sign up, although I don't believe the township should be doing that. But
right, our new ordinances, though, that we've established recently are if there's a change in use, the sign must comply. So if it was an office and now it's becoming retail, that's change in use, and we would require the sign to be brought into compliance. So, yep.
Thank you. Any other questions for? Okay,
I have a little something from the DDA concept here with the Parks and Rec property dividing and everything. Just community parking is a big issue with that amount of property. As we move forward, I would like to just reiterate that we still set aside some of that property during the development process for joint parking.
Yeah, that's a great thing. The one thing that Danny talked about from Livonia Builders is he's still looking at bringing that roadway in on the north side of the post office with parking all along that roadway there. And in previous plans, there was a small parcel of property right at the corner of Main Street and the Dente property that was going to be commercial with parking behind it. Right. And not just parking for the commercial, but additional parking for overflow. And I really would I would think that the landscape architect would really work that into the plan. I hope to get some great photos this weekend of the ice fishing tournament that's going on the lake over there. I'm excited. I know there's been a little bit of drama about people parking on the park, or should I say parking on the field. But as I know Barb can attest, before me even when that property was owned by the Flying Dutchman, people parked on that property like that to go fishing, to run snowmobile time trials, to do Kiwanis Winterfest. And you know what? The property, this is not a manicured park. This is right now a field. And it seems to fall right back into use without a problem. I'm just excited to see people using the lake and using the park and being in town. Just ask some of your local businesses that rely on walk-in business. It's helped them. It really has.
Yep, I agree, 100%.
Yep. Thanks.
If I can jump in really quick, because I am not a member, I'm an observer, but in terms of what you just said and the use of the lake and community buy-in, speaking as a member of the PC, but also Sam Iaquinto did respond to my question. We were concerned about funding and public buy-in with Parks and Rec master plan. And I lived in St. Clair County for quite a while. Amazing parks, because they had a Parks and Rec millage. I really think there needs to be consideration of a millage so that the public has buy-in and ownership of their parks. So probably I shouldn't say any of that. That's my opinion, but there are members of the PC who thought so too.
I mean, that's important to share. And I'll tell you this, we're just starting to go through the budget process for 2021, 2022. And I understand that when it's a millage, there's a buy-in from the community. And then that may be something, that's certainly going to be something in the future that if we put a beach in or something to that effect, that we're going to have the resources to support maintaining that kind of thing. We already have things that we are maintaining or that we haven't been maintaining, and we should be. So I will say that capital improvement, or should I say capital maintenance, is an important role for the board that I'm trying to look at in the next budget. And Parks and Rec funding is also one of those things that, at least to start off with, the township's going to have to prioritize it. Thanks.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the bench project update, and Jack has been working on this, and I'll turn it over to him.
Okay, well, as our minutes noted, we voted to proceed with ordering the boards we need to replace the boards on the current benches. I interfaced with the folks at Poly Products, I'll say multiple times, and got them exactly what we want. There turned out, I had asked for an estimate based on 10 benches. We have 8, so that's what we used. We decided to go with 2 6-inch boards for the seat, 2 6-inch wide boards for the back. They all basically are 5 feet long. Actually, I've ordered them half an inch short of that because of some issues. Barb and I looked at the bench and we agreed that that should work. Bridget also did the same, and she said she would last meeting. And she came back saying, yep, looks like that should be fine. So I talked to the folks, I put in the order, which I sent the invoice to Barb and Ken, but for the rest of you, it turned out to be a total of $1,099.01, which is less than what we had earlier because we have 2 fewer benches than what they did the original estimate on. And also, turns out she gave me a better price than she should have on each board. So we're saving $8 per board because she inadvertently quoted a lower price per board. So the net result of that is we have a lower number than we thought. Now, I suggested that we don't need them before middle of March, if that, and so we've set up so that they'd be available around that time. I told them I would just drive out. I have a pickup truck. I'll drive out and pick them up so that we do it ourselves. We save $175 in shipping, as I mentioned last time. And I don't know, I'm not sure where we'll store them, but we'll find a place to store them. I could store them if need be at our place, or maybe there's somewhere else better. But anyhow, this place is in Mulliken, the well-known and highly regarded town of Mulliken, Michigan. And as I understand it, it's about 20 miles or thereabouts west of Lansing. So it'd just be a run out there and a run back to pick up the boards. And then we'll interface with Kiwanis as appropriate to get them installed whenever the time for that comes up. So that's where it stands from my standpoint. I don't know, did I miss anything or other questions?
Would you like some gas money or be compensated for gas expenses?
No. Oh, the other thing I didn't mention, the color will be cedar. So it'll be very close to a wood color. If you look on their website, cedar, it's actually the most popular color, but it's the one I picked out as being the best one, even though I didn't know it was cedar at the time. So, but that's what it is. So, but no, that's okay. It doesn't matter.
I'm assuming they'll be going to each of the sites where they are.
Well, I presume Kiwanis will take them all and gradually install them at the various places where they are. I presume that. I don't know.
Now,
Okay.
we need to get hardware for them.
Possibly. Now, remember, the current benches have some hardware with them because they're bolted down. But yeah, I would think new would be good. The other thing I should have mentioned is they didn't need and I mentioned this to Barb and Kevin, they didn't need a deposit. So when I go over to pick them up, I could just take a check from that the township generates to pay for them. And the hardware, I don't know. I think that's something we should let Kiwanis deal with, don't you think?
Yeah, I wouldn't order it ahead of time or anything until we see this. Yeah. Pass this on to the Kiwanis people who are going to work on that. So I'll let them know where we stand with it.
That's it.
I'm sorry. I might have missed, Jack. When are you thinking we'd go and get them? Get that?
About the middle of March, somewhere around the middle of March.
In March. And Barb, do you want to take, or who wants to request that the check be cut for that?
Can you just do that since you're in the office?
Yeah, I can do that.
Or would it be better? Would you rather have I do that?
No, I can do. Jack, do you want to just send me a note when a week before you're going to go, and I'll make sure that it's cut?
Yeah, you have the invoice, so.
Yep, I do. And I'll get it into bills so that the township can approve paying it, so that when you need it, it can be cut.
Okay, so I will wait to hear from them when they're ready. Then I will alert you, and then once I have the check, I can go get them anytime. They can say they're ready tomorrow, and I don't have to be there tomorrow to get them. So it'll work out.
Great.
Thank you for doing that.
Yep.
Okay, the next item I always leave on the agenda is community relations, and I turn this over to Jenny.
Yeah, so I did end up emailing Jill Henry just around the start of the new year when school was getting back in session. She responded and, thought this was a really cool opportunity. Was planning on sharing it with the business teacher. I did not get a name. And then if this was not something that they were willing to take on, especially given COVID and, how things are sometimes virtual and in person, understandably, it could be a lot for them. So said that this would be something that NHS would be interested in for community service hours. So I have followed up with her, but understandably, she's very busy too. So I just haven't heard anything back yet. So hopefully, this is something we can try and just keep tabs on as things progress. But I think that's all I have. I don't know, Dana, did you want to use this time to talk? Or that's later, the Valentine's Day thing comes later. So I think that's about it.
Yep, coming up soon. And then there's a discussion on DDA boundaries update, which we've talked about before, probably every meeting in the past 3 years, about the question on the DDA boundaries, the properties. They've changed over time. Some of them were commercial, some are not now. And I was reaching out to MEDC, the Michigan Economic Development Council, and the Michigan Downtown Association about it. And I don't have it here, but I was told that it's very rare for a DDA to even try to adjust the boundaries because of the opportunity for the county and other entities to opt out if we change the boundaries at all. And that over a period of time, we know that some things are no longer commercial and that they can be eliminated without changing the boundaries. And Ken, I know you've talked to attorneys who feel otherwise.
Yeah, I've spoke with I'm trying to remember his name. You guys worked with him before, but here's the thing: they're saying we can trim off properties that are not part of what would he called our natural boundary, which and that would include properties such as the Maple Hill Park property, the links of Whitmore Lake property, things that do not fit into what would have been considered a natural boundary of the DDA district. There's one erroneous parcel out on the west side of the township that's not connected to anything that was listed in the DDA TIF plan. So Tom said that the thing that it comes down to is he just needs a legal opinion that tells him what parcels are in the DDA district that he can capture, that funds can be captured on. Once he has a legal letter that tells him exactly what to do, that's what he will do. And the problem is I've got two lawyers that both work for the township that have differing opinions, and their opinions are different than that of the MEDC. So, options are, there's a couple options. Options are we continue to try to whittle this down, and we try to trim off those properties and see if we can get something done there. The problem is that the attorney that the original opinion was asked of by the DDA that you guys paid for says barbells are illegal. He says they're indefensible they won't pass muster when someone challenges it. I've heard 2 legal opinions that counter that. Jack?
Can we go back to MEDC and ask them for an attorney that would get us what we need in the way we need it?
Yes, we can. And it's unusual for a DDA not to have their own attorney, independent of the township attorneys, but we don't have the funds to do that. And what they are telling me is lots of DDAs are barbells. Lots of DDAs are irregular. And that once they were approved by the state, the county, the township, and everybody else involved, they are legal. So if that's the case, the shape of our DDA district doesn't mean a thing. But we do have these outliers that are no longer commercial. But I don't know if what it would cost us to get in an attorney with this opinion. And I guess I could ask in Arbor's DDA for the name of their attorney and see, if there's any way I can get a free opinion, because they've been very helpful to us.
Well, I would say that if we can find out an idea of what it would cost for the MEDC to provide us that, or to give us in the direction of an attorney that can give us an idea, if you can get that to me, I will get the funds allocated by the township board. This has been going on too long. It's time to put this to rest. And I don't have a problem bringing it to the township board saying, this is the cost it's required in order for us to ever capture DDA funds in the future. Let's finish this up. We've got 13 years left, something like that of the DDA.
12 years.
12 years. Let's make those prosperous 12 years.
Okay, I'll follow through on that, and I will get you the information. And we do have everything electronic now, right? As far as the whole DDA bylaws and everything is available electronically, correct?
Yeah. Yes. And I have all of the original manual,
Yeah, I do too.
documents here that I got from Marlene. So I have them actually at my feet right now. So.
All righty, I'll take care of that. Be in touch with you about that.
Thanks, Barb.
The next item on the agenda is Dana wanted to talk to us about the Valentine's downtown project, and she did send us an email this afternoon about it.
Yeah, did you guys get the flyer? So Michelle from Dragonfly Rescue really put this together, and I just said I'd help. So we're going to be decorating our businesses, and Michelle's spearheading the events on the flyer. I did want to decorate the pots again. I'm wondering if I could get like $100 from the DDA reimbursed. I am getting these big, those sweetheart candy hearts. I got them like outdoor versions, and you can stick them in the pots, plus some other stuff. Just again, to try to provide some festive community for February, which is traditionally a super dreary month. And then maybe next year, Michelle would really like to grow this event. And I think next year we could get more involved and perhaps have, some more ideas and how to get involved.
The flyer looks great.
Yeah, her friend Renee did that. So, I was just really, Michelle wanted to do even so much more, but I had to remind her it was COVID and just simmer down. So, but yeah, she just put the whole thing together. So I think it's going to be a nice event, and the businesses will look good, and hopefully the pots as well. And, next year we'll do it up even hopefully better. So,
do we need a motion, Barb, relative to $100 being allocated to this? Or?
Yeah, probably something to the effect of a maximum of $100 to reimburse Dana for any expenses involved in that.
I'll move that we allocate up to $100 for Dana to use as appropriate for the Valentine's downtown project on whenever that is, 13th, 14th of February.
Second.
Okay, that was Secrist and Iaquinto. Further discussion on the motion? Hearing None. Those in favor say aye.
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 And those opposed say nay. Okay, motion carries. I put grant opportunities on the agenda just because I sent out another one. Washtenaw County has put out another grant opportunity for businesses, a little more geared toward restaurants and places that have had to either close or really limit their business. And we'll just keep sending those out as we hear about them. As far as I'm concerned, I think, they ought to be for the businesses that haven't been able to be open, the bars and restaurants and things. And that was the only thing I had on the agenda about that. So you'll keep getting emails every once in a while about those. The next item is board member comments, and I'll start with Doug Wilbur.
Okay, I'll go back to the Parks and Rec property where people are starting to access the lake, park there. I think until we really get an established program down there, I really don't have a problem with what's going on that's been happening over the years. I'm real excited about it. I think we've announced now that it's our Parks and Rec, and I'm happy to see people going down there and using that. Other than that, I'm really excited about the progress that's happening within the township. And I think the DDA boundary issue and so on is a very critical thing for us to stay focused on. And that's about it.
Thank you. Jenny Olney?
Just typing away. I was going to say the opposite of Doug. However, I will not say that because I agree. I think the activity that's happening at the lake is very exciting. I was just saying to a friend of mine, I know it's COVID, but I really haven't seen this much activity on the lake in a really long time. And so I also think it's fantastic. What worries me or leads me to just say, let's use this time while we don't have things built up on the park to put plans and processes in place so that, do people need a permit for certain things? Do they know how to go about getting that permit? That there is clear signage about parking once we have parking, because it is a little irritating that we do have public parking like a quarter of a mile down from the lake, and that's not being used. And instead the field is all torn up. But again, I get it. It's great that at least the lake is being used, but I just don't want to be caught in the same place when we do have some sort of development going in. The Parks and Rec Master Plan just got there. So, let's have a process that people know how to follow, where to access it. And I don't know, I'm assuming that would then be Parks and Rec that puts that together, but I don't know if that's the case. So Doug, I see maybe you have a comment.
Well, I think we assume that, as we get the funding and, we had a $5,000 budget. It got cut down to $1,200. I mean, this has been all over the place for us in the Parks and Rec. I brought up signage a number of times as far as accessing the lake. We had someone down there trying to bring their boat out of the lake. Different things have happened in time. Okay, so this is a work in process.
Yeah.
The property's been used pretty much the way you've seen it being used over the last 3 or 4 weeks in the past. It's survived just fine. By putting our sign up and announcing it as a recreational area, people are just doing it, which is fine. We don't really have any other structure set up. We gave them picnic tables and other things to use while they're there. We're inviting them in, but we haven't had the funding to establish some of those things you're talking about. So for right now, I think it'll be fine, is my opinion. And in the near future, hopefully, we get all of our tools in place and we can really make it a really enjoyable place for everybody.
Yeah. Awesome. I think the only other thing is I just really appreciate the update from Ken on the conversation with Livonia Builders. I've met with Danny as well. Great guy. Really believe in, what he can do, his communities, and would love to have him build here in Northfield Township. So I just really appreciated hearing some updates there, and hope we can find something for both that is of interest to Danny and works really well for Northfield Township. I think that's all I've got.
Thank you, Danny. Dana, anything else?
I got nothing, but I'm excited about all the developments in progress. I'm very optimistic about how the township's progressing. So,
thank you. Anne, Iaquinto?
I will ditto the ladies here. I agree. I enjoy hearing the update from you, Ken, and the progress. It sounds positive and great for our small businesses here in this town and our community. The dollar store, whatever kind of dollar
Family
store. What?
Family Dollar.
Sure, Family Dollar. Yeah, so it looks like they're going to be opening soon, and I think that'll be positive and getting people shopping back in our town a little bit for those kind of things. So, yay. That's all.
At Ritz?
I don't have much, just, what Ken was saying. We look forward to helping in any way possible with the Barker and connecting and everything else. So, we're going to be sitting down with the township here shortly as far as the easement goes and everything else. So, if you guys have any suggestions or anything, we're more than willing to help and make things easier. So we also look forward to the Valentine's thing too. Hopefully our building on the front isn't being completely redone at that time, but it could be. We don't quite know yet. So it'll be based on the timing of the permits and everything else. So, but if not, we'll do it for sure.
Thank you. Jack Secrist?
Yes, I just want to say a particular thank you to Ken for pushing forward with 75 Barker. That's an important thing that needs to be resolved. Appreciate hearing about the committee and the timelines you're trying to work under. I know they may get slid back a little, but it's nice to have aggressive timelines, and thank you for that. Speaking to Livonia Builders is just great, and all of us that have worked on that project for however long it's been, appreciate that moving forward. And of course, the DDA boundaries, I mean, that's kind of job one, right? If we're going to get any money into the DDA to do anything of significance, that's where it's got to start. So we really need to push that, and I hope you're able to justify whatever the attorney's costs are up front to lay the groundwork for a lot of good things happening later, because that's really what it amounts to. And the other thing I'll mention or remind Barb about is the DDA orientation packet that we talked about at the last meeting that I said I would help with and so forth. So that's still on the agenda to be moved forward, I guess.
Yeah, it's quite an involved packet, and I'll get the list of guidelines because Ken and I did that redevelopment ready community thing, and it's part of their library now that we have access to. So I'll get a template for that, and we can work on that. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to skip over Ken because I know Cecilia has to leave to go to another meeting. Are you still with us, Cecilia?
I am.
Do you have anything?
My only comment is Parks and Rec needs a millage. That's my personal opinion. Things are happening. I'm very excited. I used to shop downtown. I remember what it was like, and I loved it, and I was sad when all the businesses went away. So let's bring them back. All right. Good.
Okay. Ken, do you have anything else to speak with us about?
Just a couple small things. So on the redevelopment ready communities, that is still a priority. The things that have been worked on by our planners have all been in line with the RRC framework. That is, the rewriting of any of the ordinances has been that way. The development packets that are getting ready, they're working on right now. We did approve phase 2 of getting those developer packets completed, and that again is right in line with the redevelopment ready communities framework there. definitely look forward to conversations with Matt and how we can really find a synergy at 75 Barker. I think there's an overwhelming willingness on the board's part to own the parking and not play games with the parking anymore. Well, it's going to be part of it's the township's parking. So now we just have to make sure we have a good plan, and when asphalt starts to be brought in, but we just need to be able to leverage that for the best cost possible for all of us. So I look forward to that and figuring that out and restoring that parking lot and labeling it and putting up a sign that says "Park here, people. This is a great place." So, and one more thing is, I think you'll find one of the first things the landscape architect will probably do when they start working with Parks and Rec is try to define your barriers of entry for the park, where the parking will be delineated, and make it so that it's not the ability to just park wherever they want on the area. I think that's a big part of it, and that's the stuff that's going to have to be put in place even before structures are placed. So, but thanks everybody.
I was going through some old DDA papers, and it related to 75 Barker. I found one, it was our proposal to the township board to give it to the DDA and let us do something with it. We were so frustrated, and that was shot down. And then the other one was a quote for demolition of the building. So we do have quotes for that.
Yeah, I understand it's like $40,000 was the quote last thing.
Approximately.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say. We'll see if anyone comes forward with a creative plan to do something with it. And if not, by golly, we can always use more parking downtown.
Ken, have you heard anything from where the Driftwood Marina was from Somer? Is putting anything in there yet?
I have not. In order to operate a marina, he is required to have a building there with facilities, bathroom facilities at the very least, and outhouses don't cut it. So I am going to be working. We are in the process of finding a way to bring on an ordinance enforcement officer again, since we don't have one at this time. The ordinance enforcement officer went on a leave and lost some family members and it doesn't appear is going to be returning to us. So I'm working with the chief of police actually to maybe bring a part-time police officer on full-time, where he'll be working for the township as an ordinance enforcement officer when he's not a police officer. Once we have that in place, and I can get with Kurt as well, Kurt's going to have to get there and have a conversation with Somer. I'm going to try to reach out to Somer myself and sit down and just have a conversation about, what are we doing? Where are we going? Do you want to do something? Do you want to sell the building, or do you want to sell the property? And maybe maybe he doesn't want to be in the ownership of that property anymore. I don't know, but it's certainly, there needs to be something there, and at least my stance is you can't operate a marina without a building, and I'm willing to push that through the legal channels if we have to, if he does not have a plan in moving forward. I'm not saying the building has to be up the day he opens the marina, but there should be a site plan going through the planning commission.
I'd like to make a little comment. I think you got the right idea, Ken. Approach him, talk to him. I mean, they had tried for a number of years to make something move forward with the previous planning groups and so on. So I know they've really had some plans put together and wanted to move for the last 5 years or more. So yeah, reach out to him.
And, I'll walk side by side with him through this process to make sure that, the bureaucracy doesn't get in his way, that we,
Right.
Got to follow the steps, but, I'll be right there to help you get through those steps too. That has worked well with Gronow and Chestnut Development. I think it's going to work well with Danny. They want the confidence in knowing that they're not going to make investments and have to spend time for something that is they're going to get the rug pulled out from underneath them. I will tell you this. I've been talking with Joey over at Poly Market just today, and he wants to set up a time to come over and talk to me and have a conversation about Poly Market and how it fits into the future and the downtown that we're trying to develop. The people on this call right here, are primary stakeholders in this downtown. And I would love nothing more than for Poly to be on board and, be a part of that process of coming back and understanding the importance of the look, feel, and being a part of the comeback. I would love to see them have pride restored in their business. And I think that's been lost. I know it has been since it was ran by Pete and Chuck back then and those guys. They took pride in the work and their business, and it's just gotten lost. And I think more of that's been out of frustration than anything else. So.
Before we adjourn, does any member of the public want to speak at this point?
If you do, raise your hand, please. I don't see any hands raised yet. Give it another second. If you raise your hand, I can allow you to talk. Seeing no hands. Nope, no hands.
Okay, alrighty, thank you. The next item is our next meeting will be on February 24th. And I think we ought to start working on our budget so that it'll be ready in plenty of time for June. So Jack, can you get a copy of the most recent budget and get it out to us? And we will then, anybody who has any suggestions can be ready.
I would get that from Yvette as well.
Yes.
Would I get that from Yvette also?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yes, I will do it.
Okay, the next item is an adjournment. Would anybody like to make a motion?
So moved.
Motion by
Second,
it was Iaquinto and Forrester.
silence.
Is that you? Okay, at 8:03, motion by Iaquinto, supported by
Forrester.
Forrester. Okay, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say nay. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night.
Everyone.